Good morning. Hello, Namaskara. Welcome to this session on the subject corporate administration. And the chapter name is corporate meetings. And the topic is AGM part 2. Remember, friends, earlier we have discussed AGM part 1, where we have discussed about the statutory meeting. In today's session, we will be discussing AGM part 2. This is Chand Pasha, working as assistant professor, Department of Commerce, Government First Grade College, Hoskote. In AGM part 2, we will be discussing what exactly is annual general meeting, which is called as AGM. Remember, as I told you earlier also, this we have done in two: AGM part 1, AGM part 2. AGM part 1 talks about the statutory meeting, and AGM part 2 is about annual general meeting. Now, what is AGM? It is a meeting of shareholder which is held once in a year. The object of holding this meeting is to review the progress and the prospect of the company and elect its office bearer for the coming year. An AGM is held to have an interaction between the management and the shareholders of the company. The Company Act 2013 makes it compulsory to conduct AGM to discuss the yearly result, auditors' appointments, and so on. A company should follow the procedure under the Companies Act 2013 to conduct AGM. The name itself suggests annual general meeting. It is a compulsory meeting to be conducted every year, where the company will be telling to its shareholder about the progress of the company. In the past 1 year, what happened, what is the progress, what is the profit earned, and there's other members, other matters to be discussed in this AGM. So it has to be conducted once in a year, compulsory. Every company has to conduct meetings of the shareholder, which is called as AGM, once in every year. And what are the AGM requirement? Which company has to conduct what's the condition? All the companies are required to convey annual general meeting in every year except 1% company. Mean to say, a 1% company is exempted. Apart from that, all the other companies are required to conduct AGM once every year. And every AGM should be held within a period of 9 months from the end of the first financial year after its incorporation. Means for the first meeting, it should be done after 9 months. Subsequent, all the AGM after the first AGM should be held within a period of 6 months from the end of the financial year. Mean to say, once the financial year is been ending, from that date within 6 months, that is after the ending of financial year, within 6 months, AGM has to be conducted. And every AGM should be held during the business hours on any day except on national holidays. The time gap between the two AGM should not exceed 15 months. AGM should be held either at the registered office or the place within the city, town, or village where such registered office is situated. In case of unlisted companies, AGM in any place other than in India, if consent of all the members is given to the company in advance, either written or through electronic mode. These are few requirements of AGM. Procedure to conduct or to hold AGM. Company must give a clear 21 days notice to its member for calling the AGM, and notice should mention the place, date, and the day on which the meeting is going to be scheduled. The notice should also mention the business to be conducted in the AGM. Here business means what are the matters to be discussed in the AGM. Notice of the AGM should be sent to all the members, including their legal representative of a deceased member and assignee of an insolvent member. That is, notice should be given to all the members, notice should be given to all the directors of the company, statutory auditors of the company, and notice of the AGM may be given in writing through speed post or registered post or via electronic mode to the address of the member as per the records of the company. And notice of the AGM should also be placed on the website of the companies. Quorum of the AGM. How many members must be present for AGM? That's what we call as quorum. In case of a private company, 2 members must be present at the meeting to form the quorum of the AGM. That is, for a private company, to form a quorum, there must be minimum 2 members. But in case of a public company, a quorum is the minimum 5 members must present at a meetings of number of members within 1000. 15 members must present at the meeting if the number of members is more than 1000 but within 5000, and 30 members must be present in the meeting if the number of members is more than 5000. Mean to say, you have to understand very clearly, in case of the private company, the minimum number of members to form the quorum is only 2. But in case of public company, it depends on number of shareholders. That's what we call number of members. If the number of shareholders or the number of members is more than 1000, then there must be minimum 5 members. If the number of shareholders or the number of members are more than 1000 but less than 5000, then there must be 15 members must be present to form a quorum. And in case if the number of members of the shareholders is more than 5000, then there must be at least 30 members present in the meeting to form the quorum. I hope you have understand this point very clearly. In case of private company, only 2 is enough. But in case of a public company, the quorum depend on the number of shareholders in the company. If the number of shareholders more than 1000, then 5 members. If the number of members more than 1000 but less than 5000, then there must be 15 members. If the number of more than 5000, there must be 30 members must be present in case of public company to form a quorum of AGM. In case the quorum of the meeting is not present within half an hour from the scheduled time, the meeting will be adjourned or cancelled to the same day in the following week for the same time at the same place. This is the decision taken by the chairman. And matters for discussion in AGM. That is, what are the agendas to be discussed in the AGM. There are some various matters and agendas for discussion at AGM, which are as follows. The first one is consideration and adoption of the audited financial statement, consideration of directors' reports and auditor reports, dividend declaration to the shareholders, appointment of directors and replacement of retiring directors, appointment of auditors and deciding the auditors' remuneration. Apart from the above ordinary business, any other business may be conducted as per the special business of the company. Mean to say, these are the matters and agendas which can be discussed in the AGM. And conducting of AGM, how the AGM has to be conducted. AGM should be conducted during the business hours only. The meeting can be conducted on any day which is not a national holiday or any holiday declared by the central government. Mean to say, whenever the company call for the AGM, that AGM must be within the working days. The company cannot call any AGM on general holiday or the holiday declared by the government. The meeting can be held at any place which is within the limit of the city, town or village where the company is having its registered office. The government company can also hold its AGM at any other place as the central government may approve. An unlisted company can hold its AGM at any place in India. That is, for registered company, they have to conduct AGM within the city or town where they have the registered office. But in case of unlisted companies, they can hold their AGM any part of the India with the consent of all its members in writing. What is the penalty for default in holding of AGM? That is, AGM has to be conducted as per the provision or as per the rules and regulation of the Companies Act 2013. If the company is not following, then there shall be penalty for default in holding AGM. That is, in any case the company fails to hold AGM within the stipulated time or extension obtained by it, the tribunal may itself or on an application made by the director or a member order an AGM to be conducted as per its direction. Where the company further default in holding a meeting in accordance with the directives of the tribunal, the company and other every officer of the company who commit the default shall be punishable with a fine up to 1 lakh. In case of continuing default, a fine of 5,000 per day is levied for each day during which the default is continuous. AGM extension. As I told you, AGM has to be conducted within the stipulated period of time which is being provided by the Act. But the company can claim an extension. That is, register of companies can extend the time available to hold AGM by 3 months. The company should apply for an extension e-form, that is GNL 1, specifying the reason for the extension and the period for which the company requires an extension. The ROC, the register of company, will record the reason for giving the extension. That is, this is applicable where the company is not able to conduct AGM within the time limit specified. If there is a default, then the company can go for claiming the extension. So we have discussed in this session about the requirements of AGM, how the notice has to be served, what is the procedure of conducting the AGM, what are the matters to be discussed in the AGM, and what is the penalty if the AGM is not conducted within the time, and what is the time limit for extension. Thank you.